B1 family, welcome to Blacklogic. This evening, we're going to be discussing with Black American needs versus these two candidates that's going up for politicians. I know that for voting, for people, voting is very, very important. And I would never state that it isn't, because in your vote, there is a sort of power. But I believe you have to be an educated voter. You have to be an educated voter. That doesn't mean you have to be smart. That just means that you have to have the right sort of information in order to make a very conscious decision, and not the implementations and fear-mongering of different political parties like the liberals and the conservatives, the Democrats and the Republicans, and even the independents. And we have to understand that you really shouldn't pick a side, because before 1960s, before MLK met and spoke with Lyndon B. Johnson about the Civil Rights Act, did you know that majority of Black Americans were Republicans? We're talking about over 85% were Republicans, because they understood that the Democrats was the class of the KKK, of the so-called Dixiecrats. And they also know that President Abraham Lincoln was a Republican, and he signed the Emancipation Proclamation. And this is not my ploy to move anyone from their political stance, from their political party, but to speak in matter of fact of the truth. Regardless of who wins this upcoming election, whether it's Kamala Harris or Donald Trump, we need to understand that neither of these candidates will magically save Black America from struggles we face every day. And I'm not stating that every Black American faces struggle. I'm not stating that. But what I am stating is that a great majority of us face struggles each and every day. And here's the thing, neither one of them is the answer to Black liberation, Black freedom. And the freedom I'm talking about, family, the freedom and the liberation that I'm referencing is the freedom of your mind. Because repeating the same thing over and over again rewires your brain chemistry to believe or to not to believe a certain thing. So if you constantly keep hearing the same thing over and over again, more people are inclined to believe a certain thing than disprove it. We face very real and very deadly issues that go way beyond this election. We're dealing with police brutality, white supremacy, economic exploitation, and generational poverty. We're dealing with neighborhoods left to rot by local governments, by communities torn apart by politicians on both sides, whether it be the donkey or the elephant, the red or the blue. Our communities have been torn apart by by policies that pretend to help us but only hurt us. And educational systems designed to fail, they're designed to fail our kids. Reparations, that's just a start. Reparations is just a down payment. But even if we got reparations tomorrow, there's a mountain of other things we will have to face. And that's where we come in. Think about it. You gave 47 million Black Americans reparations, one flat payment. Yeah, we know a great percentage of us are going to go out and create businesses for our people, and this for people in general rather, but we're going to go out and try to compete and build Fortune 500 businesses. That's a great percentage of us. Another great percentage of us will pay our bills and pay off debt and pay off our houses. And we'll start to own everything we have versus rent or pay mortgages with interest rates and percentages. Yeah, we won't be doing that. But then there's another portion that are going to go blow the money. And however they blow the money, that's their prerogative, that's their right, that's their freedom. But that's where we come in. Because reparations is just a down payment because there's so much else to do. But I'll come back to that. Now, we're looking at the FBI released 2023 hate crime statistics, and you would just like to believe that certain populations, certain demographics and ethnics of people are being hated against more so than black Americans, but Jewish people are not. They're not being brutalized and hurt more so than black Americans. Neither are Asians, neither are whites, and neither are Hispanics. So when we look at the hate crimes and how they break it down with sexual orientation, religion, race, and ethnicity. So we understand that majority of hate crimes that are reported, over a half are about your race or ethnicity, okay? Which kind of Jewish people fall into both depending on how they identify themselves. And we have to understand we're going to bleed over into police brutality, but I want to show you something very quickly. And this information is coming from justice.com, and then I'm going over to FBI.gov. Excuse me, that was DOJ.gov. So now I'm looking at, if you guys can see here, bias selected as anti-white. Those people who are hated, who are brutalized, who are attacked and assaulted that are white, and someone's doing that because they are white. Does that make sense? They're stating that for last year, 4,252 people were victims because people were anti-white. Okay? Now let's change this to, let's go Hispanic. Okay? They're stated that 3,124 people were victims because they were attacked because they were Hispanic. So slightly less, almost 1,000 less than the Caucasians, right? So let's go over to, let's go over to another demographic. Oh, let's try out Asian, anti-Asian. Okay, 2,100, we'll just round that down just a little bit. So 2,100. And then we'll go anti-black. Okay. 14,408. Those are significant numbers of hate crimes. Now, to put this in perspective, because I don't like to fudge the numbers, and I don't want to tally here too long, family, but I want you guys to look at this. According to the U.S. Census, there's roughly 335 million people in America. And let's look at the breakdown based upon race. So white alone, that doesn't mean white Hispanic, just white people alone. Doesn't matter what European country they're from or North Africa. 75.3% of this country is white. 19.5% of this country is Hispanic or identify as Hispanic. 13.7% is black or black American. And then 6.4% are Asian. Why is those numbers significant? Because when you do a correlation factor of 14,408 versus we are only 3.7, and you compare that to whites who are 75% of the population, and we'll just alter the data here a little bit quick. Let's alter this. And whites were only 4,252. You're like, okay, what does all of that mean? This, when we're looking at hate crimes, this is non-police. So let's go to police. We already know we're number one in hate crimes versus other demographics, okay? And that hate is coming from other demographics. Now we're over here at Statista, and we're looking at the number of people shot to death by the police in the United States from 2017 to 2024 on your race. So I'm going to start at 2020. We understand that was a very volatile year, the death of George Floyd and many others that fell by the hands of the police, unagitated, unarmed, unprovoked. Those innocent black Americans lost their lives. And when we look at this, we see white at 459, blacks at 243, and Hispanics at 171. And we see this number in order that whites are getting shot to death more so than black folk and Hispanic folks. Now, this is to the simple amount of people. But you can't do the numbers like this because white people are 75% of the population and black people are only 13.7% of the population and Hispanics are 19.5% of the population. So we have different population. That means that these numbers may seem high when you look at them in a silo when you look at them just by themselves and not comparing against that demographics population. So don't worry about that, family, because a lot of us would like to know per 1 million people, how many white, how many black, and how many Hispanic people are getting killed by the police. Don't worry. I pulled all of my numbers from the U.S. Census Bureau and Statista, so these are not fabricated in any way. So let's go to Excel. I know, yeah, we're doing a quick class. It's okay. It's okay. So if we look at 2020 to 2024, 1.8, so roughly 2 white people were killed per 1 million people of them. And again, if we look at hard numbers, just to kind of give you guys some reference, there's 251 million white people in America, 67 million Hispanic, 47 million black, and 22 million Asian, to give you guys reference. So in 2020, I want you to look at the numbers. And we can look at the hard numbers. We can round up 1 decimal point to the right. But nonetheless, in 2020, roughly two white people was killed by the police, 2.6. We can say 3, or they were, I guess, severely harmed. But 5 black people. And don't forget, white and Hispanics outnumber black people. Okay, 75% white, 19.5% Hispanic, and 7% black. Look at 2021, 5. Look at 2022, I'm rounding up, 4.9, 5. 2023, 5.4. And the current year that we're in, the current statistics is 4.5, but we still double or triple white and black, white and Hispanic people. These are the disparities that we're having in America that people are not really talking about. They're stating that, black people do not get harmed more so than any other race. And then I don't want to go even deeper than that, because then you start doing micro-analysis of we are over-policed. It's basically you're just trying to find something. Jaywalking, crosswalking, let me search your car. But people are not to look at these statistics. People just like to listen to popular people on the internet, on their YouTube channels. They got this many million subscribers, and they're speaking in matter of fact, and they may sound intelligent, but please tell them to prop up the data on government and verifiable sources, and you will see that black people are still being harmed more so than any other group by other demographics and the police. That's my point. Police brutality isn't some rogue phenomenon. This is backed up by policies, laws, and a judicial system that lets officers walk free after taking our lives, after taking black lives. We have the qualified immunity doctrine, which gives cops a shield to do just about anything they want without facing any consequences. A get out of jail free card. Case in point, do you guys remember that court case, Graham versus Connor? This was back in '89 that said that reasonable officer standard. And what that was, it was to make it nearly impossible to hold police accountable. Congress could abolish qualified immunity today if they wanted to. Remember that. That's why people are speaking to the president about diminishing, decreasing the protections under qualified immunity. But we know that Donald Trump, and again, family, for you guys who are new here at Blacklogic, I'm not a Republican, I'm not a Democrat, I'm not a liberal, I'm not a conservative. I'm just on some black empowerment shit. That's it. So I tell the truth on both candidates, no lies. Donald Trump wants to make qualified immunity airtight. I'm not down for that, because we know who this hurts the most. Why would they want to make qualified immunity airtight? Because maintaining power structures that keep us in check, that benefits the system. So what can we do? What can we do? Tomorrow's the last day. What can we do? We can push for local policies, pressure them from the ground up or from the bottom top if you guys are voting tomorrow or today, or you voted today. But we can push for local policies that enforce transparency and accountability, like demanding body camera footage be released to the public within 24 hours of incidents. We can even do policies of making sure those damn body cameras are being serviced every 30 days so they don't have any malfunctions. We need to support, organizations like Campaign Zero, which are working toward police reform. And we need to run for positions on police oversight boards like local councils, policy-making bodies. You'll be surprised how much power the right local seat can hold. You guys will just blow your mind of what you can and cannot do. You don't need to be college educated. You just have to be an able body with a sound mind. Go try it out. And we don't want to get into this, family. We want to get into the wealth gap. Because the racial wealth gap isn't an accident. This was manufactured by disparities and people. And I don't want to call out any other channels, but you guys know the channels I'm talking about. I won't say the channel because I don't like the whole back and forth of social internet beef. That shit is weird, beating with somebody virtually. But you know what? I'll just give hints. How about that? For the sake of democracy, I'll give hints. So these are two black guys and they're twins. I'll give that one out. It's a Caribbean black lady who was ousted by the white mass media, and now she has her own YouTube channel, but it's not monetized. I'll say that. Was that diplomatic enough? Because again, the numbers don't lie. The reason why the wealth gap in Black America is not due to our intelligence, is not due to all the hard work. This is due to hundreds of years of disparities that was built on policies that keep our families from building wealth for generations. Don't forget what Lyndon B. Johnson said, even in signing the Civil Rights Act, which really ratified and sparred the whole entire child support system, as well as welfare. That really gave it a spark. Because if you really look at the history of redlining in the 1930s, we lived where they marked in red high-risk neighborhoods, making it nearly impossible for us to get home loans. If you were black, majority of black people lived around each other. So if you lived in a black neighborhood, they automatically colored your neighborhood red. So when you went out to try to get a loan to buy a house, you would get denied. And if you fast forward today, in those same areas are still suffering from poverty and lack of investment. The Fair Act of 1968 was supposed to end discrimination, but that's just on paper. You guys are still seeing today how black people are getting their house appraised, and they're being appraised $150,000, $200,000 lower than what it really should be. So we're still facing discrimination. But oh no, there's no racism in America. And this political tally between these two pundits, what's on the board for us? Because again, at the end of the day, family, I want you to vote in your own best interest. Not mine, not my rhetoric, not my bias, no. But our families still face discrimination today. And here's the thing, studies show we're still rejected at higher rates for mortgages. And when we do get them, our interest rates are even higher. And we're talking about qualified people, family. We're not talking about people who are not qualified. Because some people will put that in the comment section or leave a note later. So when these politicians talk about opportunity zones, that's just a distraction. That money really benefits us. It's for investors who swoop in, buy up our neighborhoods, and drive us out. And everybody at the corner store, at the gas station, there's nobody that looks like you. Oh, well, we don't have the money to buy stuff like that. That's what I would like to tell you. Yes, we do. Whether it be 1, 2, 3, or 4 of you going into business together to buy that gas station. One, you're being an example for that community that, yes, we can own and operate our own things. And we don't have to be just hanging out on the street and shit. We don't have to do that. And here's another thing, and this is not against any other group of people, but how do you get people out your neighborhood? Very, very easily. Just stop going. If you're outside your neighborhood, that's fine. Inside your neighborhood where you really want to own some things, at that corner gas station or corner store that treats you biasly, just stop going. Have everybody stop going. Go to a meeting. We're going to stop going to that corner store. It's going to shut down because no one's going to go to it. And then we're going to buy it and start to sell it to our own people so we can start circulating the black dollar. And not just talking about, we can invest in black-owned banks, credit unions, and some of our financial institutions. They exist. Go online. Look at black-owned banks. Look at the CEOs. Make sure they're black American. Invest in our own people in our own neighborhoods. Imagine the power if we can circulate our dollars within our own communities, building our wealth from the inside. We can also organize investment clubs to buy back properties in our neighborhoods. Get involved with land trusts to preserve that black-owned land or that black-owned bank, etc. They won't level the playing field for us, family. They won't do it. They have not done it. Politicians have not leveled the playing field. There has not given us reparations. And here's the thing, even if they gave us reparations, there's so many other disparities that's on the books. We will have to level the playing field. We can start building our own structures, but it's going to be some unification organization. And a lot of us, let's be real, are just not that strong. Planned Parenthood. Everybody want to go out and get an abortion. So let's talk about it. This ain't about autonomy of women's bodies. This ain't the pro-choice or pro-life. This ain't nothing about any of that. Planned Parenthood, so-called healthcare services, right? Majority of these Planned Parenthood on a percentage base are placed in black communities. They're placed in black communities. And this is from the manifesto of Margaret Sanger, who was really trying to eliminate the black race, especially black Americans. Let's be real. This isn't about helping us. This is about controlling us. Do you know that around 80% of Planned Parenthood facilities are within walking distance of black neighborhoods? The 1973 Roe versus Wade decision legalized abortion across the U.S., but for our community, it's always been about population control. But we don't think that. Oh, it's about pro-choice, about pro-life. This isn't about pro-life or pro-choice. It's about a targeted campaign that profits of all the black bodies that we've unfortunately had to give up. And don't get me wrong, family. I understand a lot of that is because of economic reasons. And the other part of that is because of responsibility. Pro-responsibility versus economic, economic where it affects you economically where you cannot afford the child. What can we do? Well, we need to educate ourselves. We know this, do we not? We need to educate ourselves on reproductive rights and health and create spaces that promote family planning on our own terms. Yeah, I know you're going to go out there and do your thing, but always remember pro-responsibility. But we don't need help from outside, that's not out of our control, outside entities. Let's look into community clinics run by us, for us, and support organizations that are honest about health and wellness in our communities. Because family, can we be real? A lot of us, we're a little too big. We're a little too big. We having too much fun with the masses' food. Yeah, we are. Unfortunately, a lot of black Americans, we are obese, and we need to do something about that. We need to take up hobbies, things that get us out the house. Become a gym rat, something. But we understand how diabetes, gout, high cholesterol really affect our neighborhoods. We really need to do something if we want to be the powerful people that we are. And when we look at it, family, the numbers are what they are. White people are aborting their children 39%, 11% more than black people. But of course, when you're 251 million of the population, you won't see a larger toll as quickly at 28% when you're only 13.7% of the population. And then they did this. I was looking at some numbers back in 2012 and 2015. Look at this, family. Reported abortion cases in 2012, 16,000. Whites were 19,000. Okay, but again, when we're looking at the population, that's a small fracture. This is fairly large. But Hispanics at 24. So Hispanics at this point in time were aborting their babies more so than any other group. Then we look at 2015. It decreased by it increased to 14,000. There's a decrease to 20,000. And whites decreased to 15,000. But after a policy that was implemented in Texas, the percent change of how many people were being aborted, of course, Hispanics had the largest amount because of the numbers. So don't let them fool you. There are some other things I want to point out as well. I want you guys to look at this video clip. Lord, I want you guys to look at this video clip of J-Lo speaking at a DNC rally for Kamala Harris. Now, I don't want to lead the horse to water, family, but there's going to be some things I'm going to point out that you probably wouldn't think of in the direction I will go. So I want you guys to truly listen in.
That. Not one who stands in the way. Kamala Harris gets it. Raised by a hardworking mother in Oakland, California, working long hours, strict budget, made rent every month until they could buy a home, surrounded by a community of firefighters and teachers, nurses, construction workers, small business owners. I don't know, that sounds a lot like my upbringing, and probably many of yours. Kamala Harris gets it. I know as President of the United States, Kamala will fight for our freedom, the freedom of immigrants and immigrant families to chase the American dream, the freedom of workers to...
You know, for a second there, family, I really thought that J-Lo was an immigrant. I'm like, wait a minute, aren't you Puerto Rican? Puerto Ricans are not immigrants. Because that's what she was talking about. I didn't know what J-Lo was talking about when she stated that. I really didn't know she was talking about. But I want you guys to point out something. This entire time she's reading a teleprompter. And J-Lo is a full artist. She's a singer. I believe she rapped one time. And she's an actress. You mean to tell me that even in this, she was fake? And at one point in time, she was fake crying. She's like, oh, this is going to make me cry. I just don't want to bore you with the video clip. But she was like, oh, this is going to make me cry. Like she's acting the entire time and they're really in a teleprompter. This is pathetic. And the reason why I go harder at the Democrats more so than the Republicans, because the Republicans really don't do a lot of shenanigans. Both of them lie a lot. They're both liaticians. Democrats, independents, and Republicans. They're all liaticians to me. But the Democrats just do the dog and pony show way too much. They cosplay. They do all of these weird things. And matter of fact, that jogged my memory. I'm glad I said that. They do all these weird things. Fam, look at this. Donald Trump gotta go, bitch. Kamala Harris is my president. Bye bye, Trump. 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 Bye bye, Trump. Now, I don't know what community that person is from, but this is the theatrics of the Democratic Party. And I just don't get it. This is very cringy. I'm gonna let you guys enjoy. Trump, Trump, Trump. Donald Trump gotta go, bitch. Kamala Harris is my president. Donald Trump gotta go, bitch. Kamala Harris is my president. Bye bye, Trump. Trump, 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 bye bye. Oh, have mercy. I don't know what's going on in the world. I have family. I promise you, I have no idea what's going on in the world. The Democrats are damn disrespectful. And they keep putting black people, Lord, they keep putting us at the forefront of all the debauchery. I swear they are. And meanwhile, while we're focused on the election, family, while we're focused on the election, the Democrats are making moves. While we're focused on whether Donald Trump is going to kill the democracy or if Kamala Harris is black, let me show you what the Democrats are doing behind your back. Can I show you guys very quickly? Let me show you.
Today, President Biden signed an executive order establishing the White House, bless you, establishing the White House Initiative on Advancing Educational Equity, Excellence, and Economic Opportunity through Hispanic Serving Institution, alongside nearly 24 champions for these institutions and Latino communities. The president also announced that today we are investing nearly $19 million to build research infrastructure for 5 HSIs. We know that these institutions make an extraordinary contribution to our nation's higher education system and shape the future of the nation, and over half of all Hispanic and Latino students attend a Hispanic serving institution. Today's announcements are part of the historic actions this administration has taken to expand economic opportunity for Latino communities. Today.
Yep. So while black folk are focused on the election and you guys are voting for the lesser of two evils, you're voting for if Kamala Harris is black or she's better than Donald Trump, you're voting for Trump. They're giving Hispanics more money to be incentivized to possibly, and I'm leading here, this is my rhetoric, of coming over illegally, because I already done in a video, this was quite some time ago earlier this year, where I showed you guys that you do not have to be a citizen to go to college. You don't even have to be legal. I showed you guys statistics and information for governmental website that show you that illegal immigrants can go to college here. So by them funding these educational institutions, that means that more people are going to flock to America to obtain higher education free. Where do you think the government gets their money? They get it from your tax dollars. That's why every year you have to do a tax return. You're like, wow, they took how much money? 10 grand, 11 grand? Based upon how much you make. So while they're giving Hispanics money, which is fine for those who are legal in the country, just as well as any other race, this is what black folk are getting, family. This is what we're getting.
Trump. Donald Trump gotta go, bitch. Kamala Harris is my president. Donald Trump gotta go, bitch. Kamala Harris is my president. Bye bye, Trump. Bye bye.
We got someone bussy popping on a handstand. That's what we get. We get somebody bussy popping on a handstand. And family, I don't know what community this person is from, but they're doing a lot of twerking and shaking, wagging. I just don't know what's going on. The Democratic Party is very, very cringy now. It's no longer weird. They have everybody coming out the woodwork to support Kamala Harris. This is crazy. And I don't know if you guys, again, saw the piece, we'll call it Cardi B. Excuse me, I'm still on J-Lo. My apologies. I'm still on J-Lo. Because I had to just type this in. Are Puerto Ricans immigrants? Because last time I checked, the island of Puerto Rico is a U.S. territory ever since 1917. But she's talking about immigrants. I'm like, you're not an immigrant. You say you're Boricua and you're from Puerto Rico and you're from the Bronx. But nonetheless, where's the Cardi B clip I had? I think I closed the Cardi B clip. Let me look up Cardi B again. Now, family, I don't know if you guys saw Cardi B try to give a speech or some remarks. This was funny. Now, look at this. Hold on for a second. Hold on.
What's up, Milwaukee? How you guys doing? I'm nervous. I'm excited.
What's up, y'all? What?
So hold on, family. This is the part where the teleprompter went out because all of these Democratic shills are popping out and they have to read teleprompters. Now, me personally, let's take for instance, and the reason why I'm going about this because they can be very authentic. Cardi B doesn't have to read a teleprompter. She's an artist. She could remember her lines. Like, take for instance me if I was voting Democrat. What's going on, good people? I believe that Kamala Harris is the right choice for America. We've seen the acts and the crimes of Donald Trump and how he tore up this country. And I'll give all some sort of racial perspectives and things of that nature to really engage the crowd. And then I would get off stage. But again, this is what Cardi B is doing. And at this moment, she looks up and realized that the teleprompter is off. And then somebody got to come out and give her a phone. Now she's reading from a phone. This is ridiculous.
1 second, guys. 1 second.
So when she said 1 second, guys, 1 second, she was pointing at the teleprompter.
Okay. So I don't take lightly the call. Sorry, guys. I'm a little nervous. Guys. I've been waiting for this moment this whole life. My whole life. I need patience over here. Patience, where are you, girl? I need patience over here.
She's basically calling for help because the teleprompter went out and she can't even impromptu. Cardi B, you a full $1 million rapper. You mean, well, she like, I remember my lines. I don't have lines. I don't know. She couldn't come up with anything. Family, listen. And you guys remember 4 years ago when Cardi B was talking with Joe Biden. Oh my God. This is the disrespect that the Democratic Party gives Black Americans all the damn time. They don't get anyone of intelligence, someone who knows our issues, someone who will speak on our issues. In matter of fact, why is it? Damn it. I would nominate Jason Black, Tariq Nasheed, Phil Scott. I would nominate Dr. Umar Johnson, someone who at least going to speak directly and emphatically about our condition and our situation. That's what I would do. But we go out and get Cardi B. Lord have mercy. This is what we get.
Hold on. How you guys doing tonight? How you guys doing tonight? Are we ready to make history? Are we ready to make history? Are we ready to change these 4 years? No. Are we ready to change the next 8 years? Because we're going to make sure we have Kamala Harris in office for 8 years. Thank you. All right. Vice President Kamala Harris, thank you for having.
So she had to wait that embarrassing time, and then she said, "Thank you, VP Kamala Harris." Hold on, this one more time. Maybe it's just me. Okay, I'm making it more than what it is. It's okay.
Vice President Kamala Harris, thank you for having me. I do not take lightly the call to show up, the call to speak up, the call to the...
This is what we get, family. See, and again, I know I don't want to inundate you guys with reparations, but that's the first step. That's not the solution. Reparations, family, are long overdue, but let's be real. A check alone isn't going to solve all our problems. It's not going to solve everything. Yes, reparations are a moral debt owed to our people. Whether it be for slavery, Jim Crow, redlining, discrimination, and all the hell this country put us through. And still getting put through. But if we get reparations tomorrow without a plan, without economic literacy, without a strategy for reinvestment, then what? We need to prepare by building economic coalitions, organizing investment initiatives, and educating ourselves on how to grow wealth that really lasts. Because we'll never compete. We'll never decrease the wealth gap. And let's push for more than just cash reparations. As you know, it should include land, grants, tax exemptions. Japan did it for the Japanese Americans after World War II. They did it for the Japanese Americans after World War II in that internment. But there is a time where we turn the tide, where we start to look at ourselves. Because as I stated before, reparations is the first step, it's not the solution. And we have to level the playing field. As I stated before, police mobilization. We have to elect people from our communities and serve our own interests and not just voting in the presidential election. It really does nothing on a local level. But if you show up to your city council meetings, just as well as you do your child's, teacher conference, if you start voting in school board elections and running for those offices ourselves, they count on us being silent and uninvolved. They just like, black folk, just take a chill, sit back on the couch. Don't worry, we're running for you. We'll brutalize you. We'll be biased. We'll discriminate upon you. Not all of us are like that, but it's good enough us to affect you. So yeah, just sit back, even though you're the majority of your community, but when we look at the city council board, it looks more like us than you. Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. We need to build financial institutions and build on knowledge within our communities. We need to be holding free workshops, teaching our people how to invest, how to budget, how to buy land, circulate our dollars, spend in black-owned businesses, banks and startups, all sorts of things. Imagine the amount of power of Black Wall Street reborn. And if that was coast to coast. I don't even want to talk about education or the new buzzword, education reform, but we do need to push for curriculums that teach black history and the great and wonderful things that our people have done and actual subjects that's going to make a difference. We don't need no more black people in psychology, in social work, in sociology. We don't need no more of that. We need a lot of our black young men and women in engineering, math, science, doctors, and especially lawyers. We need programs in our schools that prepare us actually for the future. Actually teach us entrepreneurship, how to build our business, work a business and build your own business. And I understand, family, there's a stigma around mental health in our community that really needs to end. We have a lot of people who actually need that assistance and help, but there's a stigma there. We understand we have endured generations of trauma, and some of that trauma is very transparent today. And we have to address these things head on. We have to push for community-based mental health services that respect our experiences and provide us with tools to heal and grow. We had a unique experience. We have a unique experience. So we need people who understand those unique needs, do we not? And most importantly, because the portrayal of black people, the depiction of how we are, what we do, how we do it, etc., the depiction comes from the media, social media and mass media alike. Media has distorted the image of our people. It has distorted the image of foundational black Americans far too long. I was just looking at a show with my wife yesterday, and I could not believe what we were hearing. I could not believe what we were seeing. And I'm going to tell you the show, and this is no dig at Tyler Perry, but God damn it, can we have something positive? Can we have a black man who's worth billions of dollars to actually make substance positive film. I was watching Beauty and the Black. I think it was Beauty and the Black or Black and the Beauty. You guys know what I'm talking about. It's on Netflix, Beauty and the Black. That show is so goddamn stereotypical. It is so distasteful. I have a very disdain for it. But here's the thing, family. He does a good job in capturing your attention. And then the storyline is building. But he has a propensity to really capture your attention. But that show is damn near demonic. It's going to have you cringy. All the black men are either gay, which isn't true. There's only like 1% of black America that's part of the LGBT community. So I don't know why every show we're seeing. So either the black man is gay or he's verbally and physically abusive to his female partner, or he's on the down low. This is the representation that Tyler Perry is painting the same image as Hollywood. Because if our stories were told accurately, and if we want our stories to be told accurately, we will have to own the channels that tell them. That's why Blacklogic is here. I don't even need to teach you guys anything. I'm just showing you. You, man, I got a busy day. I'm just going to tune into Blacklogic because he going to at least give me the truth. But family, that's what I have you today because I showed you police shootings. I show you there's a vast difference in the demographics of those who are getting killed by the hands of the police. And I'm just giving you the information as they present it. This is Statistia. And I told you I did all my numbers per 1 million based upon the population of America. That's 334 million, et cetera. But when we look at the numbers, these are the amount of black people, family, they're getting killed per 1 million people in difference of other groups. These are the difference of other groups. And don't forget that their population, the Caucasian population in America is 251 million. For Hispanics, it's 67 million. And for us, it's 47 million. We have a 20 million difference. There's 20 more million Hispanics in America than black folk. So that's the large difference here that I want you guys to understand. So when people on these other YouTube channels, because I don't really care, tell you that we're not the most aggrieved group, we're not the group that they're targeting based upon the color of our skin, and we're looking at the statistics they're telling you from these law enforcement and verifiable sources that we are. But people like to get on TV talking about, oh, there's no racism in America. Oh, well, what are we calling discrimination if it's based on your race? Oh, that's not racism. Oh, it is discrimination. Okay. Yeah, it is bias. It is bias. But family, Lord, Cardi B. This will give you guys an update. That's what's going on right now. Let me refresh this page very quick. Let me see if this is an update. Because, you know, this is... So they're neck and neck. They're neck and neck. Some people would like to say that they're tied. You know, there's always a 2 to 3% difference. So people are just stating that they're tied at the current moment. And yeah, so I guess tomorrow or early the 6th, we will know, okay? We will know who the president be, and then we'll take it from there. And of course, I'm just waiting to see so I can build something off of this. I would love your take in the comment section about what was said here today. But nonetheless, you guys have a great and wonderful Monday. For you guys who watch football, go. I don't know who's playing. I really don't know who's playing. I don't know why I said go, but hopefully my fantasy does well. Peace.